Welcome to episode 31 of Talking Shirts. I'm Mike from Hull KR Shirts, and today we're going to take a look at the 2006 home shirt. Now, this isn't any 2006 home shirt. This was a 2006 home shirt that was worn in the National League One Grand Final. It's got the game detailing stitching above and below the crest. I'll get onto that in a little while, but I just wanted to point that out first off. So the 2006 home shirt was a all-over white shirt with a very thick red-breasted band through the middle. We've seen a few different sized bands on the front of our shirts. We've had some quite thin ones, like the 2019 home shirt. And then obviously we've had some that are quite thick, like this 2006. I'm a bigger fan of the thicker band. It's good to mix it up to see different sizes, but I think if I had to pick, I would definitely go for a thicker band. So, as I've said, it's all over white, and we have a little bit of red, obviously, on the sleeves here. Got the red band, and then we've got some blue piping, which I think just breaks up that red and white. It just gives it that nice little finishing touch. The 2006 home shirt actually had a collar on it. And we had a collar on the 2006 home shirt, and we also had one on the 2007 home shirt, something that we haven't seen since then. On these player spec versions, the collar is actually stitched down on the side, so I can get my finger in the front here, but you can't get out the side because it's stitched down. So there's a stitch that goes all the way around. There's a couple of reasons that could be for. Number one, it could just be to stop it coming up and irritating a player. More likely, it's to provide a little bit of resistance to a player being able to, an opposing player, being able to grab that collar and use it as leverage. I still think it provides some leverage because it is quite thick up there. However, it probably explains why we haven't seen a collar on a playing shirt for Rovers since 2007. We've got some reinforced stitching on the neckline here, so there's some extra stitching in there. The fabric is actually quite thin, so what this reinforced stitching does is if it does get pulled and ragged, it won't rip, or it won't rip as easy. We've seen quite a few shirts with reinforced stitching that have ripped, but it does provide that little bit of resistance to that sort of contact. So it was made by Carlotti. So we was with Carlotti for a few years actually. So we did get to see a range of different shirts from those guys. We had Platform 1 as the front of shirt sponsor, so that appeared in 2005 as well. Rovers have been it's been quite common for Rovers to have a local sponsor on the front of their shirts. So obviously all the way back in the 80s with Savoy tyres, and even up to 2020 where we had the Drain Company. So, you know, we've seen all sorts of different sponsors, but it is nice when we get to see a local. So the game detailing. So National League One Grand Final is above the crest, and Sunday the 8th of October 2006 is underneath. So this shirt was worn against Widnes at the Halliwell Jones Stadium in the game that saw Rovers gain promotion to Super League. Now, this was before my time attending Rovers, and from the stories that I've heard from friends who went to that game, it was just a fantastic day out. I think like for Rovers to have that sort of success, and obviously game promotion in a one-off game like that, I kind of think back to 2017 when Rovers played Widnes again at Craven Park, and obviously had Ryan Shaw running down the wing, and I think it was probably a carbon copy kind of day. You know, the atmosphere, the feeling during, before, and after the game. So I think that's why we are sports fans. It gives us something to really cling on to. So flinging it around to the side. So as I said a second ago, we've got the red detailing. So it's not quite a full panel, but it's kind of got a little bit of a curve to it at the top, and then it comes down. And then we've got the Lloyd's TSB sponsor on the sleeve there. Obviously in 2007, those guys became our main front of shirt sponsor. So there was obviously a good working relationship with those guys. And also the blue piping continues both sides of the sleeve and then down the side. So spinning this round to the back, as you can see, we've got the number 2 on there. For this game in 2006, the number 2 shirt was worn by Leroy Rivett. Leroy made 44 appearances for Rovers in the 2 seasons he was with us in 2005 and 2006. And in that time, he scored 16 tries. Now, as you can see, the number 2 is heavily damaged. That number 2, it should be blue, but it's not. It's kind of red. I think the number has worn off, and it's definitely worn thin for sure. Now, that could be for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm led to believe that during the 2006 season, when we played the Northern Rail Cup final in 2006 at Blackpool, when Rovers played that day, they had new shirts, and in that game, they lost. Now, I was told that Justin Morgan said when the lads got to the grand final that they wouldn't be getting a new shirt for that game. He wanted them to wear the shirt that got them that far through the season. So this shirt will have been worn during 2006 in regular season games, as well as being worn in the grand final. Now, that would explain why the shirt has got so much damage to it. However, I'm also of the belief that somebody has probably been wearing this from 2006 through to early 2021, which is when I purchased it. I do feel that somebody's probably been wearing it, whether it be for work or to play football in, and it's sacrilege to me to wear a match shirt. But you know, some people out there do that, and that probably explains why there is so much damage. Now, the Lloyd's TSB up here is quite heavily damaged. As I said a moment ago, it was on the sleeve, and it's also on the top of the shirt here. But the Pride of East Hull at the bottom is in actually quite good condition. It's difficult to find a 2006 shirt with that Pride of East Hull still attached. A lot of the shirts that we have, it just seemed to, the more it was washed, it would just gradually fall off more and more each time. So the majority of those shirts don't even have that Pride of East Hull on the bottom anymore. You can just only vaguely make out an outline. At the back of the collar here, we had Hull KR that was stitched in. So again, it was just a nice little finishing touch. And as I mentioned about the blue piping, that's also on the bottom there. And then there's a little bit of red piping at the bottom of the shirt, just to sort of finish it off. So, spinning it back round to the front. So that's been the 2006 National League One Grand Final shirt. I hope you've enjoyed watching this episode. Check back in another couple of weeks where I'll be back with episode 32. Bye for now.